Once upon a time, a thirsty camel was walking along a riverbank in search of water. As luck would have it, he soon spotted a watering hole where some jackals were drinking. The camel thought, "Hey, why should I walk all the way to the next watering hole when there's water right here? And besides, there are only jackals, so they won't mind if I join them." The camel walked up to the water hole and asked the jackals, "Dear friends, may I please have some water?" The jackals stopped drinking and turned to look at the camel. One of them finally said, "Sure, help yourself," and the camel happily lapped up some water. Just then, one of the jackals noticed that the camel had a big gash in his leg. He pointed this out and asked, "How did you get hurt like that?" The camel replied, "Oh, that's because of a hunter. He set a trap for me and I got caught. But thankfully, I managed to break free before he came back. I'm so grateful I escaped because hunters are the worst. They only think about themselves and don't care about anyone else." The jackals nodded their heads in agreement. "We know all about hunters," they said. "They killed our brother just for fun. We hate them as much as you do." Then another jackal asked, "But how come you escaped from the trap while other animals usually can't?" The camel said, "Well, when I was trapped, I made a promise to myself that if I survived this, I would never trust any wild animal again. Because let's face it, everyone only looks out for themselves. You see, a wild animal would be happy to share some prey with you if it meant getting rid of the hunter. But when it comes to escaping a trap or danger, no animal is willing to lend a helping paw. Everyone just wants to save themselves. That's why I say you can't trust anyone except yourself. When I was trapped, the wild animals could have easily saved me by pulling the trap apart, but they didn't. Maybe they were scared, maybe they were too busy eating, or maybe they simply didn't care. All I know is that none of them offered any help. So I broke the trap with my own strength and freed myself." The jackals looked at each other. They understood what the camel meant, and they felt ashamed. They had never thought about it like that before, but now they couldn't help but agree. The camel continued, "So remember, if you find yourself in a difficult situation, don't count on anyone else. Only you can truly rely on yourself. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help each other. Of course we should, but never make the mistake of thinking someone else will always be there to save you. That's something I learned the hard way. If only I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have trusted those wild animals and gotten captured in the first place. And my friends, just because someone offers you help doesn't mean you should accept it. Think carefully and consider the risks involved before deciding to trust someone." The jackals fell silent. They knew the camel was right, but it was hard to admit that they had been wrong. Finally, one of them said, "All right, camel, we get it. You're right. We shouldn't have judged you. From now on, we'll stick together and help each other. No more complaining or arguing." The camel smiled. "That's the spirit. Remember, true friends don't argue. They support and help each other. Now let's drink some water together and be friends." From that day on, the camel and the jackals became the best of friends. They shared everything with each other and never betrayed one another's trust. Whenever they encountered a problem, they worked together to solve it. The camel used his strength to help the jackals dig burrows, and in return, the jackals used their intelligence to help the camel find food and water. Together, They were a force to be reckoned with, and nobody dared to bother them. One day, the camel and the jackals were playing near the river when suddenly a large group of hunters appeared on the other side. They had weapons in their hands and were looking for prey. The camel and the jackals were terrified. They knew they were in danger and had to escape as quickly as possible. "Quick! We have to run away," shouted the camel. "If those hunters see us, we're dead meat." The camel and the jackals started running as fast as they could. They ran along the riverbank, over rocks and through bushes, but the hunters were faster and more determined. As they were running, the camel noticed a small cave hidden behind some trees. "Come on, this way," he shouted to the jackals. "We can hide in that cave. It's our only chance." The jackals followed the camel into the cave. It was dark and narrow, but it was enough for them to hide. The hunters ran past the cave without noticing the camel and the jackals. They could hear the hunters talking and laughing, and they knew that if they stayed quiet, they wouldn't be able to hear anything. After a while, when the hunters had gone away, the camel and the jackals came out of the cave. They were shaking and scared, but they were safe. The camel said to the jackals, "I told you not to trust anyone. Even when we were in danger, you still wanted to go against me. If you hadn't listened to me, we would have been finished today." The jackals felt guilty. They knew the camel was right. They shouldn't have argued with him. If they had listened to him in the beginning, they wouldn't have found themselves in such a scary situation. "You're right, Camel. We're sorry we didn't listen to you. From now on, we'll always follow your advice." The camel nodded his head. "That's all I ask. We need to stick together and help each other. Only then can we survive in this world." From that day on, the camel and the jackals lived together in harmony. They never argued or fought again. Instead, they supported each other and worked together to solve any problems that came their way. The camel's strengths combined with the jackal's intelligence made them an unstoppable force. And most importantly, they never forgot the valuable lesson they learned about the importance of friendship, trust, and loyalty. They remained the best of friends until the end of their lives. Once upon a time, a thirsty camel was walking along a riverbank in search of water. As luck would have it, he soon spotted a watering hole where some jackals were drinking. The camel thought, "Hey, why should I walk all the way to the next watering hole when there's water right here? And besides, there are only jackals, so they won't mind if I join them." The camel walked up to the water hole and asked the jackals, "Dear friends, may I please have some water?"